Daredevil Born Again, episode 7, Art for Art's Sake. But I felt the episode should have been called I Am Not a Muse. And it's your boy, Icon, with a Marvel television review for you, going over that Daredevil Born Again. And before we get started, hit that notification bell, like and or subscribe. Check out my other videos so we can get those watch time hours up on my YouTube channel. Love you all, and let's get started. So and in this particular, this is episode 7, so 8, 9, so 2 more episodes to go, and until the finale. So now the Kingpin, he's talking to his goons about what happened with Angela and the whole thing with Muse. And they're just like, yeah, like the girl woke up, she's in the hospital, she lost a lot of blood. And I'm surprised at this because, and then they were just like, oh, Daredevil was there. And he was like, so he's back. Daredevil's back. And I'm surprised he did, because the thing is, Kingpin knows that Daredevil is Matt Murdock. Throughout the entire episode, he was trying to figure out why Daredevil was back, like what was the point. And I'm surprised Kingpin didn't pick up on it, because if Matt Murdock was the lawyer for the White Tiger and the White Tiger died, and his niece gets snatched up into the train station by Muse, I mean, like, putting 2 and 2 together, that would make perfect sense to give him a reason, to come out of hiding to put the mask back on. But as I said, Fisk is still trying to figure that out. So Matt, he's struggling because he finally put the costume back on, and he doesn't know what he's going to do about it, like, or where he's going to go from here, and then he's talking to his girlfriend, and then, she was just like, oh, you didn't come home last night, and you came back with bruises and everything, and then he was just like, I got a lot of stuff that I'm dealing with, and then she tried to give him, like the psychiatry spiel, and then he was just like, like, I'm fine, he's like, I just got to work through it on my own. He ends up going back to the office, and when he goes to the office, what's the guy's name? Cherry? Like the cop. He was upset because he's like, I told you not to go out there, Matt Murdock. And then he was just like, look, what did you want me to do? The police weren't doing shit. And then he said, I need you to get your contacts to try to find Muse because he's in hiding now. We got him on the run. And then Cherry was like, I ain't going to do shit. He was just like, I'm not going to be a part of this vigilante foolishness. And then that's when Matt was like, first of all, motherfucker, he said, back when you were a police officer, you used to call me begging for my help. And then he got mad and he left. Now his partner, I can't remember this girl name, the McDuff or something, like the black girl. So she was talking to Cherry, and she was just like, oh, she's like, why are you and Matt ignoring me, and you and Matt are keeping secrets from me? And then, so once she did the whole, we're supposed to be a team, and I don't like being kept in the dark, I'm just like, okay, you're gonna find out that Matt Murdock's Daredevil probably in the season finale. Like they've already set that up. They've already set that up for that to happen. So he gets mad, he leaves, he decides he's not gonna help Daredevil. Matt ends up talking to Angela, and then and she's just like, yeah, Daredevil showed up and kicked that guy's ass. And then he was like, was there anything peculiar about his hideout that you remember? And then she said, yeah, like he did have like weird pictures like all over the wall. So Matt puts the suit on, he goes down to where the hideout is, the cops were there, well, the vigilante task force was there. And then when Matt went down there, he was going through some of the photos, and even then it was crazy because I understand like he can touch the photos to feel, like line patterns and eye shapes and things like that, but those were written on flat paper. So it was crazy because it's not like Muse did like 3D modeling so when he did it, I was just like, oh, this is interesting. Like he can feel this. So one of the pictures that he ended up feeling was from his girlfriend, and then he freaked out. And then, after that, he dipped. The vigilante task force, they spoke to Fisk. They was just like, yo, Daredevil's on the move. Like, we saw him. And then he was just like, you got to catch this Muse before Daredevil does. He was like, do it for the city. So that, so now the vigilante task force. And I guess they found the photo, too. Like, they found the photos of the doctor, so they know that the psychiatrist, they know that she's the next target. So now this brings us to actual Muse, because a bunch of episodes back, maybe like episode 2 or 3, when the psychiatrist, Daredevil's girlfriend, when she was doing an autograph signing, because she's also a book author, there was a boy that showed up, a young man that showed up, and he was just like, oh, do you do private sessions? Because I'd really like to get counsel from you. The person who asked her that happens to be Muse. And the difference in body is weird, because when she was talking to him, when they had their counseling session, and then when Detective Kim was talking to Wilson Fisk and telling her that they dug up some information that Muse could be this guy. It was the same guy. They said that we think we know this him. And she was telling Fisk things about his past. He was also telling the psychiatrist things about his past at the same time. And they casually mentioned the fact that he did Taekwondo. Because in the last episode, when he fought Daredevil, when he was in the Muse costume right before he fought Daredevil, he kind of looked like a stocky, like construction worker, city worker type guy. The actual guy that's playing Muse, he seems like tall, thin, young. The guy who played Muse seemed like he was old, like he was older and kind of like frumpy. And I'm just like, body type wise, I don't remember him being that thin. Like, he looked like he was bigger, but I'm like, well, maybe that was the stunt actor that was wearing the Muse costume. But I also thought it was weird when him and Daredevil were fighting. I also thought it was weird that the guy was like, not so much fighting back and holding his own with Daredevil. He was doing martial arts moves. Like, he was doing like spinning back kicks and things like that. And I thought that was weird. I was just like, okay, you're some random painter. You're an artist. Like, you shouldn't be going toe to toe with Daredevil. But they casually threw in the fact that, like, oh, he took Taekwondo. But I do give them credit for this. They gave it a reason. It wasn't just like, oh, he knows Taekwondo just for the sake of explaining why he can hang with Daredevil. They actually said because he was a psychopath and because his parents wanted him to be an athlete, they forced him to take Taekwondo, and then he did it for 3 years, and eventually he killed the sensei. So I was like, okay, at least you gave it a backstory, like you tied it into like his overall like craziness. So that was I was fine with that. After that, he basically told the doctor, he was just like, you know, it's been you all along. He said, ever since I've been getting counsel from you, he was like, you know, you're the ultimate prize. Like, you helped me see the light. You helped me be who I can really be. And then that's when she put two and two together. She was like, oh shit, I'm fucked. And then he snatched her up, and then he was gonna use her blood because I guess he felt like her blood was the purest blood in all the land. He was gonna use her blood to paint whatever the hell he was gonna paint. So after that, like, you know, he cut her wrist, he strapped her up to the table, and then just when he was about to start draining her blood, the vigilante task force, they're on their way to her, you know, to her apartment. But then Daredevil jumped in through the window and they started whooping the guy ass. While the two of them were fighting, his girlfriend ended up picking up the gun because Muse brought a gun, you know, to an artist fight. She picked up the gun, and while he was fighting Daredevil, she shot him 3 times in the chest. And I'm kind of like, you didn't have to kill him because Daredevil was like right there. I was like Daredevil was handling it like she really didn't have to kill him. Because later on she was like, "Oh my god, I killed him, man!" And I was like, "Yeah, you really didn't have to do that." Like Daredevil was standing right there, like you didn't have to shoot him. But then after that, the vigilante task force showed up, and then, you know, Daredevil was gone by then. But they're not stupid. Like, Fisk came in, they spoke to Fisk, and then Fisk was just like, you know, what happened here? And then they were just like, you know, he was shot, you know, she got sliced, and said apparently there was a third party here, and we feel like it was Daredevil. Daredevil intervened. And then that's when Fisk was like, no. He was like, Daredevil didn't intervene. He said, you brave men came in and did your jobs, and you saved the city, you saved the girl. And that's the story that we're sticking with. So he went on live TV while Matt was with his girlfriend in the hospital. He went on live TV and basically said the officers were the ones that took down Muse. And he was like, I told you I'd keep the city safe. And then he held Muse's mask up, and it was just like, all praise the Kingpin and everything. So now he basically out here telling these lies. And then Daredevil was just shaking his head in disgust. His girlfriend did make a comment, though. She was just like, oh, people who wear masks are cowards. And when she said that line, I was like, yeah, that's going to come back to bite Matt later on, like later on in the season. So then after that, BB ended up showing up at the mayor's office because he called her over. And then he basically told her, he was like, yo, that shit that you pulled when you got me drunk for me to spill my information. He was like, yo, I'm not a fucking moron. He was like, you owe me for that shit. So he said, what you're going to do is you're going to go on your blog or your little website or whatever, and you're going to tell everybody that the task force were the ones that took down Muse. And then she was like, yeah, but that's bullshit. She said that Daredevil was the one that took him down. And she said that when I do my things, she's like, you know, I tell the truth, like I don't lie. And he was like, yeah, well, you're going to lie today. Otherwise, your career is either going to be really good or it's going to be really bad. And then she was like, was that a threat? And he was like, 100%. So now they're basically compromising. But she didn't, I mean, we don't know if she's going to do it or not. I mean, I don't think she should. Like, honestly, I think she should tell him to kick rocks. And still do the things that she does and just like let, you know, whatever's gonna, because I'm like, what is he really gonna do? You know what I'm saying? It's like, are you gonna kill her? Are you gonna kill this girl because she told the truth? I don't think she's gonna tell the truth because that's not what her platform was built on, but we'll find out. But like I said, but he's basically trying to string her up by the balls to get her to do Fisk's bidding. And I'm still trying to figure out what this kid's obsession is with Wilson Fisk. Like, I swear to God, I feel like that's his illegitimate son. And then Vanessa, good old Vanessa, she ended up speaking to the guy that had owed the $2.8 million or whatever. And then the guy was like, look, he was like, yo, ever since your husband became mayor, the whole business has been shit, and it was better when you were running it, and I know you feel that way. And then she was like, so what are you asking me? Are you asking me to help get rid of my husband, or are you asking for permission for you to get rid of my husband? And he was like, yeah, whatever floats your boat, but Fisk got to go. At the end of the episode, Vanessa basically texted him because there were like flowers on her desk or whatever. She texted him and she said, my husband's at this particular address and he's all alone by himself. So then when the guy showed up to kill Fisk and get him out of the picture, Fisk's other assistant showed up and then like he murked him. They killed the guy. They killed the mob guy. They disposed of his body. And then that was pretty much it. So I guess Vanessa told Fisk, like, yo, they're plotting against you. So now she's on board with him. The two of them are together. They're together, like, side by side. Like, she spilled the beans on him. And she's going to ride this mayor shit out. So maybe the flowers were enough to convince her. Adam never got talked about. Like, Adam never, like, we don't know if he's dead. We don't know if he's still in the prison. We don't know Adam's whereabouts. I don't know, unless he's using Adam to hold over his wife's head. I don't know, but it's all some very interesting stuff, especially because Fisk is lying to the public about the vigilantes. Angela right now, she's like 2 seconds away from putting the damn ambulance on, so we'll see what happens. That was how this particular episode ended, and thank you for tuning in. So 2 more episodes to go. So this is very interesting, and we'll see what happens, because now that Muse is out of the way, this is pretty much a battle between the vigilante task force and Daredevil, because it's an all-out war on masked individuals. So we'll see, and especially because Daredevil doesn't know that the Kingpin is back, but Kingpin knows that Daredevil's back. So the two of them have. So I'm like, with Muse gone, the villain's gone. There's 2 episodes left, so this is really just going to be about Fisk versus Matt, like in the final 2 episodes. But there are some little things that's like BB's going to get caught in the mix. McDuffie's going to get caught in the mix, and then they mentioned Karen Page, dear God. But we'll see what happens as we conclude the final 2 episodes of Daredevil Born Again. So check out my other reviews, because I do have Daredevil Born Again, all the previous 6 episode reviews up on my channel. I've also got WWE 2K25 that I'm playing and I'm streaming up on my channel as well. And I said anything else that pops up, because I'm going over some anime, so I can bring you guys some anime and any superhero goodness that happens to fall in between. Check me out on TikTok, on Instagram, on X, and on YouTube, where you can leave those questions, comments, and concerns, especially on TikTok, because I like talking to you guys back and forth on TikTok. Like whether we agree or disagree, it's actually fun to have those conversations, and that's what this superhero game is all about, us sharing our questions, comments, concerns, laughs, and cries as we can roll on and on to all this good stuff that they're going to give us in the world of DC, Marvel, action, anime, and everything else in between. So that was it, guys. So thanks for tuning in. So until next time, for some more Daredevil action, take care, don't be no one's muse, and we're out this bitch!